On the play is very good. Expressive Iteration is very good. They have no hand hate in the main. We will likely be able to get this Expressive Iteration off. The divide by 0, I think, is good enough in terms of interaction to keep the hand. So I think we keep this. I think it's hard to know which kind of hand he's going to keep. His deck can be more mid-range or it can be more aggro. Okay, so tap land is exactly what we wanted to see. He does also have to be wary of us potentially holding up to our disruption here. So I'm going to put some stops here to fake it. There's Ghislaine. So we're going to tank a little bit here. Obviously we have no legal actions, but we'll let him think that we're considering disrupting it. I'll let it go. So we can just hold up divide by 0 here. They're going to have 4 mana available for something like Asika's Chariot. If we do that, when are we casting the Expressive Iteration? Because we'll probably want to cast the Unexpected Windfall the following turn. So most of their scary stuff, like Goldspan Dragon is the biggest problem, and that comes down, it won't come down next turn, it'll come down on turn 5. I think we take the opportunity here to Iteration and hold up divide by 0 and Windfall the following turn. That's pretty good. Let's just get the Epiphany and play our land. And if they have Chariot, they have Chariot. Okay. So he did not use the treasure to cast that Stormseeker. Okay, we need double red in play to be able to cast the Windfall. We don't want it to flip tonight, really. We don't want Goldspan Dragon to resolve either. Let's see. We let it turn to night. Whatever their play is, we'll divide it by 0, hopefully. If they don't play anything, then at least we have the Unexpected Windfall to play. They are flooding a fair bit. Unexpected Windfall this turn does let us Epiphany next turn. Letting that touch the board is probably fine. Yeah. So that'll touch the board. Hopefully he targets it with the wolf to give it haste, and then we'll bounce it in response. There's no Snakeskin Veil as far as I can see. Yeah, no. Oh, I didn't realize that would happen. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Not playing well. Yeah, Okay, so we're gonna need to run it up here. We're gonna need to spin Windfall into Epiphany into Mascot Exhibition to try to stay alive. Okay, so this is 3, 7, 8, which is not enough to copy either spell next turn. Yeah, are we just dead? It's close, right? That's what he does. Yeah, I think we're dead here. Yeah. Okay. Well, that wasn't great. I'm pretty sure I played that very badly. So, against Jund, I'm not sure what we want. Cinderplasm seems pretty awful. So Apollo posted a sideboard guide for this list when he Hey Mets, thanks for the good wish. Good luck wishes. Apollo published a sideboard for this list, but Jund was not one of the matchups he published one for. I'm trying to think what's good against them. I think we really want the combo. Smoldering Egg seems pretty reasonable. Probably just treat it like the aggro matchup, I would think. So I think we just probably treated it like mostly like mono green. So I think this is the place where we're supposed to race them with our dragons. I think this is what we're supposed to do. Okay. We absolutely have to draw land. A lot of it. And we don't have any card draw in the hand to achieve that. So we need to either draw a card draw spell or a couple lands off the top. I think we keep this. We do have the removal spell to deal with their board. Play the island first. There's some consideration to keep the basic in your hand because we do run Thirst for Discovery in the main. Yeah, this is the other reason to keep the hand, right? Because Duress, mulliganing against the hand with the deck with a bunch of hand hate in it is unpleasant. Discards the Epiphany. Okay. So I think we're happy enough. Yeah, I think we're happy enough to play the Smoldering Egg here now that we've drawn the land, and we know that we'll be able to play the Demon Bolt for 3, which will pump the egg. That kills it on sight. Okay, reasonable. And we'll foretell the Demon Bolt to get it away from their disruptions to make it cheaper for future turns. Okay, Ranger class. Do we want to kill this Innkeeper? Honestly, probably not. They'll gain life on it, but I don't think so. And we did draw the land. It is a tap land. That does suck. But at least we'll be able to Windfall And hopefully landing the horror is good. They've already spent one piece of removal. Pumping up the Innkeeper, which is fine, I suppose. I think do I want to stay alive, or do I want to cast... I have the 1 mana spell after I cast Hullbreaker Horror? I tapped out a green, so Snakeskin Veil's not a consideration here. I think we take 4 here. I think we have to be big. Fading Hope. Okay, so here I think we're just main phasing the Windfall, hoping to make our land drop. And as much as it's painful, do we bin the Fading Hope? Try to keep the Windfall around for a future turn? We know we're going to be able to bolt something anyway. Okay, I think I'm going to pitch the Fading Hope here. Wow. That is brutal. Did not hit the land. Okay. And I guess we're just saying go. They haven't been doing anything with their mana. I feel like even resolving the horror is not great, especially because it's face up. I think we still take 5 here. If they play a creature post combat, we're gonna want to Demon Bolt it. Okay. Well, we just untap. We did find our land. Okay. And Goldspan Dragon. It's kind of nice. Take that into the hand. Exile the land, because I really do want to be able to play the Hullbreaker Horror with some sort of interaction backup. Yeah, so we have Demon Bolt and Fading Hope available. Okay, let's do that. Okay. I think the plan is going to be to bounce this token to save a little bit of life. We'll just take 3, this is fine. So we'll have 8 mana, which will be Hullbreaker Horror plus Demon Bolt to protect it. Or Alrund's Epiphany. Okay, so if we play Goldspan Dragon, attack, we'll definitely get to Epiphany. If they kill the Goldspan Dragon, that's one less kill spell to be able to use on the Hullbreaker Horror. If they have Soul Shatter, it's an absolute blowout. Does he have Soul Shatter? He has one copy of Soul Shatter. Even that's not so bad, honestly. Okay, we'll give this a try. And it's just the absolute nut if the Goldspan Dragon gets to attack here. I guess if he kills it in combat, then I don't have enough. Okay, yeah. This is 7 mana exactly. We can Hullbreaker Horror, but we can't Demon Bolt afterwards. I don't really want to pitch anything to the Windfall in my hand either. Tough call. I think this just resolves. I think this is what we're supposed to do here. They have no creatures. Okay. So we have 10 mana available. We're supposed to just... I think I like just casting Epiphany here. If we find untapped land here, we can cast the Hullbreaker Horror and have Windfall available to protect it. We don't. We find tapped land. I don't know what they have in their hand. Fading Hope is excellent. Man, do we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 if we do this? I think it's Windfall to hand, because Jwari Disruption can bounce any spell to hand as well. And they haven't been playing creatures. So I think we're just going to attack with one bird. Let's say go. We don't have to play the horror either. If he just says go, I think we're pretty happy to just cast the Windfall, pitching the Disruption. Careful taps with the Predator. Okay. So I think this is fine. This will resolve. We can play the Hullbreaker Horror end step with Jwari Disruption back up to protect it. And then the following turn, we can Unexpected Windfall main phase, bounce the Predator, and get in. Actually, this is great, because this even counters the Mastery, and we get to bounce the Predator for free. Is this even lethal? 7, 14, 16. It's not quite lethal, but I can't imagine anything ever resolves again. And that's it. Okay. 1-1. So, on the draw, I'm not sure how we feel about the aggro plan. It's gonna be difficult to race them. Yeah, so against Mono Green Paulo actually takes out the Goldspan Dragons, which makes some sense, especially against Jund. The removal spells are pretty obnoxious. I think probably Hullbreaker Horror is the main win con here. Yeah. Could also be that like Saw It Coming is fine in the matchup. They're a little slow. The problem is, like I said earlier, that we don't know what kind of hand they're going to keep. Like, that's the problem with mid-range. They could keep, like, the Gruul hand that's mashed us in game 1, or they could keep the mid-range full of removal hand that we handled pretty nicely in game 2. I guess if Hullbreaker Horror is the plan, maybe an extra Fading Hope is good. That's probably a little better than the Behold. Okay. I don't love it. Okay. Hand is reasonably good. Opponent mulls, that's nice to see. We're gonna keep. If they duress away the expressive iteration, then that kind of sucks. Spikefield Hazard. Oh, they mulled a 5. Okay. Duress. Sure. So what do you take? probably, I would think, the expressive iteration. Yeah. Divide by 0 is a reasonably good draw. I think we're playing the Spikefield Hazard tapped, and probably foretelling Epiphany on turn 2, with the idea being that we can cast the Celestis on 3 and immediately cast the Fading Hope after that. So, like, if they invest the treasure here to cast a creature, we're just going to be able to bounce it. Does that change things? I think it does. Talking away the Epiphany from another discard spell could be pretty big game. If he plays Chariot next turn, then I really, really, really want to be able to disrupt it. Okay, this is fine. Another Alrund's Epiphany is nice to see. Here... yeah. We're just gonna play the Celestis. Which is like as good as ramping into the, as foretelling the Epiphany in terms of ramp. And is also just like general purpose a better thing to do. If he plays Chariot here, then we're a little sad. Okay. Not really interested in Fading Hoping the Kalain. Comes Knight, which is kind of nice. The third Epiphany, sure. I don't know that we want it, honestly. Like, being able to hit our land drop with Warrior Disruption is a pretty big deal here. Yeah, I think keeping the third Epiphany is a little too greedy. I don't think we need it. Okay. It's fine. So we can foretell an Epiphany. We want to have 3 mana available, so I guess we play our untapped land here. They have 1 copy of a Braid, so I think I'm going to use the Celestis here to foretell the Epiphany. Because I don't want them to use the Braid, get rid of our mana, and then be able to play around Divide by 0. Okay. This is also fine. Like, there's no pressure here. So here we can do the same. We can just run it back. We can play Warrior Disruption tapped, foretell Epiphany, hold up Divide by 0. We have Divide by 0 available, we have Fading Hope available, and then we're just going to start firing off Epiphanies. If we ever find Galvanic Iteration, then that's great. If we get a Divide target, we can even get Mascot Exhibition, so we can go Epiphany, Epiphany, Exhibition. And it's hard to imagine them coming back from that. Yeah, sure, that's fine. So we can Epiphany here if that's what we decide we want to do. I don't think there's a great reason to. How much does it cost to flip it to day? 4, basically. We have 7 mana available. So we can do this and hold up Divide by 0 and flip it to night twice. I think that's the way to go. Yep. Cool. I think I just want the untapped land. think opponent is, like, very, very likely to be on, like, 2 removal spells in hand. That's pretty good, too, realistically. I think we can be greedy here and pitch the land. The second divide by 0. It's pretty nice. Okay. This is fine. Anything I don't want them to exile from our graveyard? I don't think it particularly matters. So I think I will let them attack. Just to get rid of any possible instant speed stuff they could do in response. I think we're digging for a galvanic iteration here. Just really put the game away. Alright. Well, while they're tapped low, I think here we're just going to cast a bunch of Epiphanies. Start doming them for 4, with divide by 0 up the rest of the way. Burning Hands is a reasonable thing to be able to discard to Unexpected Windfall. We have 8 mana, this leaves us with 4, we can divide by 0. Still anything we particularly care about. Smoldering Egg's nice. But I want to hold up the divide by 0 shields. Yeah, I mean, realistically, at this point, we're just going to pitch the Windfall. And then we can play Smoldering Egg and have divide by 0 up forever. Never amen. And good game. Hard for them to beat that. Good game, Astrals. We are on the play. Okay. This hand is pretty awful in the matchup. But I think in the mirror, like, the most important thing is hitting land drops. Hopefully we get to Dwari Disrupt something on turn 2. If we get to Fading Hope a Smoldering Egg, that's not that bad either. I think we keep this, but it's, like, it's close. We'll start with the Spikefield Hazard tapped. I think. Right. Right. So Mountain plus Stick means that they have Spikefield Hazard of their own. They decided to hold on to it, which is interesting, because we don't have any great targets for it in our deck. Okay, so we've drawn our own dead removal. So that's great. Again, like, hitting land drops is not the worst thing. We do just kind of want to curve out. And if they can't kill us early, then we should be able to jam through our combo. You just say go. Okay. That's not bad. So we'll foretell this, hold up Disruption. So they have Celestis, which is annoying. I think in response, before they can, like, disrupt this Behold the Multiverse, we're going to cast this now. That's pretty good. No more land, please. Oh, that's excellent. Okay. Alright. So, probably Expressive Iteration into untapped land, hold up Divide by 0 for their Goldspan Dragon, or their Foretold Epiphany. Okay. One option we do have is to take both Divide by Zeros and try to bounce the Celestus, but that leaves us soft to the Goldspan Dragon, so I think we just put the Divide by 0 in hand, put the other one in the deck, and exile the Cinderclasm. And we'll just play the untapped land here. And we'll keep the basic in our hand in case we draw Thirst for Discovery. So if they try to jam Epiphany here, then we have the disruption available for it. And if they do this, then we can just divide it back to hand. How do we feel about Teachings? They're on 5 cards in hand. I don't think Sciences is great. Are we ever going to resolve Mascot Exhibition? Like, they kind of have to keep tapping out to try to get this Goldspan in play, right? At which point we'll be able to resolve our Epiphany and get our Mascot Exhibition down. Okay, I'll take that. There's our Thirst for Discovery. That's an outstanding draw. So now, I think what we do is... we have some options here. I think I just like playing land, hold up, Divide by 0, and Thirst for Discovery, rather than Foretell the Epiphany. We do have to be wary of the of what is certainly an Allrun's Epiphany, right? Yeah, they have nothing else that they can foretell, so that card is 100% an Epiphany. You just say go. There's no Hullbreaker Horror in the list. Okay. I kind of want to pitch Cinderclasm Fading Hope, actually, and keep the land. Is that crazy? I don't think so. Okay, so we'll have 7 mana. Casting Epiphany here seems pretty insane. But foretelling it and having the option to Galvanic Iteration it next turn seems pretty gas. So we would want 8 mana. We have the 2 untapped lands to be able to do that unconditionally. There is some chance that this Dory Disruption still is live. Is there a reason to Expressive Iteration here? If we do that, we'll go down to 4 mana. 5. We'll be able to Galvanic Iteration plus Divide by 0 if that's what we decide we want to do. If we don't Expressive Iteration here, then we do nothing on their turn, which kind of sucks if they don't do anything. So I think we do this. Okay. Take the Epiphany to hand, put the Hazard back. Play the island. We're gonna need to discard to hand size if we don't foretell an Epiphany, so I think that's the play. Especially because we want to be able to cast Galvanic Iteration plus Epiphany next turn. If they want to Deluge, that's fine. We're not going to take the Divide by Zero shields down. Like, they could have an absolutely massive turn if we take the Divide by Zero shields down and they resolve a Goldspan Dragon. Expressive Iteration is fine. Okay. They bolt in the land. And they say go. Okay. So here we have the option to just go for it. If they do have mana up for double Divide by Zero, which kind of makes a lot of sense. The way they've been playing. It's a tough call whether to go for it or not. I don't think, now that we've drawn the second Divide by Zero, I don't think there's a particular need. So let's just foretell this Epiphany, I think. Can always go for it next turn. And I think there is value in having 6 mana up for double Divide by Zero. Because if they have Galvanic Iteration to copy their Epiphany, then we will definitely want both Divide by Zeros available. Another Alrund's Epiphany. Okay. I think I'm down now to play the Jwari Runes tapped. And foretell another Epiphany. And next turn we can like start pressuring them with Haul, force them to tap out and do something. And still have Divide by Zero available. I'm fine countering this, I think, right? No, okay, this is fine actually, because they're gonna have to probably discard to hand size or do something. Like, eventually we will reach a position where we have a bunch of lands in play. We can Galvanic, 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 Epiphany. We need 5, 11 mana to do that. We're already at 9. Have they decided to go for it? Looks like it. Nice. Okay. So if they have another Epiphany, then we could be in some trouble here. Otherwise, we get to do it right back to them. Oh, wow. That's pretty tough. So we have 10 mana, which is not enough to double Galvanic Iteration plus Epiphany, but I think there's no choice. I think this is forced. Okay. Now I feel like we win. Yeah, so now we have 11 mana, which is enough to... Iteration. Yeah. Okay. Probably attacking with... Like, I think they played it well, they were able to resolve their combo, but I think they got a little too aggressive after that. But yeah. So, now we do have a sideboard guide here. And most of it's pretty intuitive. Out come the Cinderclasms, out comes Burn Down the House, out come... Demon Bolts I'm less sure of. Fading Hope is pretty poor. How are they... What's their sideboard like? They have 2 copies of Hullbreaker Horror in the sideboard, so I think we still want to be fairly aggressive in trying to resolve the combo. Fading Hope is like... There's no way all the dragons come out, so I think I prefer Demon Bolts to the dragons, or to the Fading Hope, but it's kind of close because I also want the Fading Hope to deal with the horror. In comes the Test of Talents, in comes Thought Coming, Level and Hermit, our own Hullbreaker Horror, of course, and our own dragons. The idea being to put a bunch of pressure on them with the Goldspan Dragons on turn 5, force them to tap out, and then hopefully have our combo in reserve to beat them up from there. I guess we will take out the Demon Bolts. And just hope that if they tap out for the dragon, then we get to resolve our combo. But this is essentially the mirror from here on out. So this could get kind of crazy. We do have round 1 in the bag, which is a pretty big advantage. We only need to win 1 of the remaining 2. This is an awkward hand. We're probably supposed to play Stormcarved Coast tapped on 1 Hall of Storm Giants, on 2 for Epiphany. Yeah, I think so. Field of Ruin, low-key pretty important card in the matchup to deal with opponent's Hall. Definitely keeping this. Okay, I think that's what we play on turn 1 instead now. Still allows us to iteration for value on 3. Yeah, and there's no reason to like bluff Twari Disruption here. Next turn we'll have Divide by 0 available for any turn 3 play. This is fine. This card is really good. Yeah, I'm not really interested in Expressive Iteration there. Maybe I should have been. Maybe there's just nothing that I'm interested in dividing on turn 4. No, I am, right? Because if they have, like, Unexpected Windfall... Smoldering Egg, you said. I'm gonna divide this by 0. And I don't want it to touch the board in case they have Fading Hope, because they could Fading Hope their own egg and fizzle to divide. It does mean that they'll be able to resolve a Goldspan Dragon next turn, which is kind of sad. Not sure what to take. Environmental Science is just so low impact. It's got to be Teachings, right? Celestis is not bad. So if we play Celestis plus land and they play Goldspan Dragon, opponent has no Test of Talents. They do have 2 Disdainful Strokes, but it would allow us to try to resolve an Epiphany the following turn if they tapped out for Goldspan Dragon. Which I think I like. It does require them to have the dragon, but they do have 4 of them. Okay. Cool. So now we get to resolve 2 Epiphanies in a row. Which is pretty good. Okay. So now we can resolve a teachings. Find Fading Hope and Divide by 0, which is gas. So we'll need 3 mana for that, or 4 mana for that. So I don't think I want to Iteration. I think instead I want to play this. And we will Fading Hope the... something. I think we Fading Hope the Goldspan Dragon. And I think I'm content just attacking with all 4. Just try to get him dead. With the Divide by 0 available through Wajari Disruption. Which they didn't have, because they would have gotten priority with the treasure in play. And now I think we're happy to do this. Just don't give him the extra mana from the treasure. I do just want the card, I think, to be able to pitch something to Unexpected Windfall. Okay. Okay. So we have Galvanic Iteration, Unexpected Windfall, which is pretty sweet. This time I will hold one of these back, I think. Am I concerned about Divide by 0? No, because they only have 2 mana. I think we just resolve this now while we have the opportunity. We get to draw 4 cards here, get 4 treasures. If we draw Divide by 0, then we probably just win the game on the spot, and we do. Test of Talents is pretty great as well. Again, just the card to be able to pitch the Unexpected Windfall. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Cool. Should start recording this. We are on the draw against Orzhov Clerics with a 1-lander. We do have the option to try to scry into a land with Fading Hope. I think this matchup is good enough that we don't need to speculate on hands like this. We can just mull and trust that we'll be more or less okay. We keep this in bottom in Iteration. And I think we play the Stormcarved Coast on 1 to be able to Spikefield Hazard something. Do they have a Thalia? Thalia's not a cleric, but they might put her in here anyway. No. So unfortunately we don't have untapped red to be able to kill an Aspirant, a Luminarch Aspirant before it puts the counter on itself. I don't think anything that's not a 1-drop has 1 toughness, so I think the Spike Field Hazard at this point is not great. And I think at this point we're just trying to curve out into the combo. Some unfortunate draws here mean we might lose, but... Okay. This seems fine. So now we get to foretell our Epiphany. We'll be able to cast Iteration next turn. Hopefully find, like, Unexpected Windfall and then just go off. Righteous Valkyrie, you say? There's some world, right, where we eventually Galvanic Iteration this Thirst for Discovery. I think we're just trying to assemble the combo as quickly as possible. Let's just find some gas. Droid Disruption I'm not super interested in. Let's take the Behold to hand. Put the Jwari Disruption back. We'll play the Pathway. And I do want to bluff the possibility of a Fading Hope. So we'll put some stops here. There's Oprah. They're still on 23. Alright. So not finding our ramp. Opponent could get to 27 next turn if they play something with 4 toughness, right? This is based on toughness? Yeah, so if they play another Valkyrie. But if they had Valkyrie, then they probably would have played it last turn, I would think. No, maybe not. Maybe they would have just gotten Oprah and played a play around a board wipe or something. We're going to foretell the Behold the Multiverse, make their life a little bit harder. I don't think they can kill us by the time we get to cast an Epiphany. And we'll Behold just looking for... Just looking for some interaction. Okay, so they would definitely play a creature pre-combat if they had one, right? So this will put them up to 27. Everything gets pumped. That's interesting, right? You would have thought they would do that pre-combat. Divide by 0 seems pretty great. That seems really good too. So it's probably Galvanic Iteration, divide by 0. Bounce all that back to their hand. Right? We also have the option to play Celestis, hold up a single divide by 0. So that lets us get to Galvanic Iterationing the Epiphany faster. I think I like that. I think that touches the board. Right? No, it happens now. We don't want them to gain life, because they'll gain extra off the Cleric class. I think I like Mascot Exhibition here. They can replay the Valkyrie now if they want, but we were going to bounce it during combat anyway, so this effectively just denies them the counter. Oh, I should have done it during combat to avoid this. Yeah, that was a punt. But it doesn't matter, because we're really good at this game. Oh, wow. 8, 9, so we still have extra turns. We'll just foretell this Epiphany. Cast Mascot Expedition. Attack. This is filthy. Okay. So definitely a significant misplay there, but it just didn't matter. The matchup is just way too big. So that was our last extra turn. We have 9 mana, so we can do this again. So we can divide by 0 the Valkyrie if we want, get in for 8 in the air. These things will get through this trades. Actually, we can just kill the Valkyrie, which seems significantly better. Let's start with a Thirst. Cinderclasm. Alright, so probably just pitching that. And honestly, like, divide by 0. And we can go into Iteration. Demon Bolt. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Okay. Yeah, that was a mistake as well. Forgot about Oprah. Okay, so now we are out of extra turns. With lethal in play. Just wanted to make sure we actually got there. It's kind of crazy that we took all the turns for the rest of the game. We took like 6 turns in a row and it still wasn't quite necessary. It was only like barely good enough there because of the punt with Oprah, because of how much life they gained early. So what do we want? I feel like on the draw, Cinderclasm is not inspiring. Fading Hope seems pretty good. Hullbreaker Horror seems like the nut. Smoldering Egg seems reasonable. Goldspan Dragon seems reasonable. Maybe we actually want to cool it a little bit with Fading Hopes. Smoldering Egg doesn't actually seem all that great, because a lot of their stuff just flies. We won't be able to block. I feel like we have too many draw spells here. I feel like the way that we lose this game is just by getting out-tempoed. I think the Beholds are probably... Trim and Iteration. Trim a Behold. Excuse me, bring in 2 Smoldering Eggs. I don't know, man. Yeah, Burning Hands doesn't seem great. It doesn't hit anything. Malevolent Hermit is kind of whatever. I think I prefer the extra 2 Fading Hopes to the 2 Smoldering Eggs, and we'll just run it like this. Like, all we need to do is stay alive long enough to cast our combo, and the Fading Hopes, I think, are a little better than the Smoldering Eggs when everything flies at getting us there. This seems good. Opponent mulls. We're gonna keep. In the board, what do they have for us? They have 2 copies of Paladin class, which is scary, 1 elite spellbinder, and nothing else that really matters all that much. So if they play a 1 toughness creature, or even if they don't, I think I'm pretty happy to... Yeah, we'll just play the mountain. Because if they play Luminarch Aspirant, then we definitely want to kill that. This is just kind of whatever. Yep, that's fine. Don't let them go to combat. Sometimes Arena does let you go to combat there. That's not a bad draw either. Are we into just iterationing here? Given that we have the second one? I think the answer is no. I think we can be a little greedy. I don't think we need to cast the iteration there. Markov Purifier. Okay. That card seems terrible. Those are all pretty good. We already have the draw 2 in our hand with Windfall. I think we just take Divide and the Mountain. What does that do? Beginning of your upkeep, draw a card if your life total is greater than or equal to the last noted life, which was 20. Okay. That's pretty good. Don't really want to let them draw cards. A little tricky. I want them to commit to the board so the burn down the house is good. Probably what I'm supposed to do here is just cast Unexpected Windfall on their end step. I guess if they draw Paulo here, then that kind of sucks, but they also need to put a serious clock on us or we're just gonna run them over. So Valkyrie is going to come in. They can gain 1. I don't think they can get to Valkyrie to the point where it'll dodge. Burn down the house. Yeah, they can't. Did they foretell something? No, they paid the cost and drew a card off of it, sure. So here it's just the last noted life total was 24. They're going to draw another card off of it, but like kind of who cares. We'll pitch the Field of Ruin. Do they have Faceless Haven? No, they don't. They have 1. They have 2 man lands. We're probably supposed to pitch. I want all my blue. We'll pitch the Field of Ruin. Okay, we'll pitch the island, I guess. Goldspan Dragon. This is just burn down the house, right? And then we have Demon Bolt, Fading Hope, and a Goldspan Dragon coming. Yeah. Letting them draw a bunch of cards off this is kind of sketchy. But I think as long as we stay alive, they can't hurt us too badly. They are at 27. Alright, so we get to attack with Goldspan Dragon, which can't possibly be wrong, right? I think we're happy to divide this by 0 now. So they don't get to draw anymore. And funnily enough, we might actually get to resolve teachings, which would be pretty funny. Also, Mascot Exhibition is just going to be really tough for them to deal with if we can copy it. A lot of options here. I think it's Mascot Exhibition. I think there's too good a chance that they'll be able to dump their hand. Hey, Manatee. Working on it. Okay, that resolves. So they'll go up to 24 with this. I think that's fine. Pretty thrilled to draw Divide by 0 there. Start with Iteration. Another Dragon. Another Fading Hope. Another Pathway. I think I just like Dragon, honestly. Dragon, land, attack, have Divide by 0 available. That seems great. I guess we don't need to do that. We could Dragon, Fading Hope. Like Fading Hope to hand, Dragon from exile. Yeah, I think that's even better. So we'll take the Fading Hope to hand. Land goes back in the deck. Dragon gets played. Now we have 4 mana to be able to cast both the Divide by 0 and the Fading Hope, which is pretty gas. I ran into that Sigarda's Splendor card at an Epiphany, and I had to read that on the spot and had no fucking clue what it did. Okay. I think we're mostly unconcerned about anything unless it's a flyer. I think that touches the board and we just Fading Hope it. so we only use one treasure instead of two. We could use both if we wanted to be super aggressive. But I think I just want to have the divide by 0. That is an aggressive attack. Okay. I don't think there's a way to lose at this point. So this represents 6 mana. So we can divide by 0 after, like, double divide by 0 after Mascot Exhibition. Sure. We have 10 in the air. And that's going to do it. Sure. Actually, we do need to attack with everything because they gained life. Probably not literally everything, but more than just the flyers. Cool. And that's the ball game. 3-0 in the tournament. Pretty convincing win so far. Good game. Okay, so up against Izzet Control. This is Izzet Hullbreaker that we're up against. With 2 copies of Lear in the main, which is not, like, ideal in the matchup. But 4 copies of Hullbreaker Horror in game 1 is kind of a game breaker when we have some dead removal. Hullbreaker Horror is not the most inspiring card right now in the meta, when the most popular counterspell is divide by 0. But, like, it is a mirror breaker, like, it's an uncounterable flash threat. So we probably need to be aggressive to beat them down. It probably involves ramping into the combo as quickly as we possibly can. There's not much... Like, in order to fit the Hullbreaker Horrors, they probably had to cut a bunch of permission and interaction, and it looks like that's the case. In fact, they have no Epiphanies at all. I think we keep this and hope. Play this on blue, I think. I want to hold on to the basic if I can. Yeah. But now I don't think I can, because I need to make sure I have enough blue going forward. I want to hold on to the basic in general in case I find Thirst for Discovery. So we'll foretell this. Next turn we can play Field of Ruin. Hold up Twari Disruption. Another mountain. We definitely want 2 red in play to be able to cast Windfall, so playing Field of Ruin here is a little awkward. But I guess we have to do something. If we crack Field of Ruin, we get to fetch an island anyway, I suppose. So if we kill the Field of Ruin, if we use Field of Ruin here, they actually can't Unexpected Windfall, right? They only have 1 red. No, they can fetch. They could fetch a mountain, and they'd be able to Unexpected Windfall. A little tilting. I don't want to ramp them that way. Guess keep. Oh, we just say go. Or we untap, rather. We hold up our own Unexpected Windfall. here I will cast it. If it gets divided by 0, that's not the end of the world, because we're only losing the Cinderclasm. Sure. And we will at least be able to main phase it next turn. So we'll do that, pitching Spike Field Hazard, I think. Okay. So they fetch Teachings. They probably want to cast that next turn, I would think. We already have a Foretold Epiphany. Foretelling another one at the cost of a treasure does not seem outstanding. If we play a Jwari Disruption tapped here, there's some chance they'll play into another. I think we definitely play one tapped. They already spent one divide by 0. I kind of like just jamming and hoping they can't interact. Next turn we can even if they have divide by 0, we can, if we draw untapped land, we can all runs Epiphany plus hold Jwari Disruption backup. Actually, we don't even need that. We can Epiphany with Disruption backup. They divide by 0, we disrupt it, then we go off. If we need to draw another untapped land to do that. But I think it's worth going for. If they tap out here for Teachings, well, actually, if they do that, they don't draw any cards. They exiled Prismari Command. That's kind of tilt. We can spend one of our treasures to kill the treasure that they're going to create, effectively, and we lose the card in hand. I don't think that's worth it. I think the plan here is to just make sure they never untap again. So... And the divide by 0 is going to lock the game up. Is 7 mana? Are we just okay with this? We bounce it to hand, they get to cast it again. We bounce it again, they cast it again. So these birds are basically dead. And here I think I do like Field of Ruin to kill their land. If they want to use this mana here, odds are they're going to have to tap a bunch of extra mana. And if they tap low and we find Epiphany off of Expressive Iteration, ooh. This is really good too, right? I think we want more red. No, we have a mountain in hand. We'll get blue. So teaching digs us too deep. How much mana do we have? We have 8, 9, 10. Iteration digs us 3 deep. If we find an Epiphany, I think that's the way to go. We'll still draw 2 off the teachings. Yeah, this is fine. This is tricky. Question is, do we play the Celestis here, or do we cast to Behold the Multiverse? Celestis not, like, super inspiring. If we do this, we still draw, right? And we'll still have Divide by Zero available. Yeah. Burn down the house, not the worst. If we do this, we still have Divide by Zero available. Right, they don't have any... They don't have a Braid. They do have a 1 more Prismari command left in the deck, which would be a tilt, but they can't cast it this turn. So I think I'm fine with this. Fading Hope a good draw against any Hullbreaker Horror shenanigans as well. We are out, 3 Epiphanies down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it looks like the plan here is to copy Unexpected Windfall. Now let's see if they cast Teachings here. I am tempted to Galvanic Iteration into Burn Down the House. So this is 10 mana. We can also Galvanic Iteration Mascot Exhibition, to be fair. I like it. I think I like copying the Mascot Exhibition. 10, 11 mana. Leaves us with 1 open, which is still enough to Fading Hope. Tap the Celestis there to play around in a Braid, forcing us to... taking away our mana to be able to Fading Hope a Hullbreaker Horror if they have it. so that will resolve. They block here. They're still taking lethal. So they need something kind of special here. We also have to burn down the house in reserve, so we'll get the Hullbreaker Horror off the board one way or the other, and then burn down the house for lethal, I think. Seems pretty good. Okay, so they choose that one, and I think here we just bounce the Horror. And they can cast one more spell when they're dead on board. I guess if it's like exactly Fading Hope, are they dead on board? No, they still take... This bounces another token, but they're dead to burn down the house. No matter what. I guess they need to... No, they're out of cards, right? So, there's no way. This is why we made the aggressive play with the Mascot Exhibition, because, like, they have inevitability in Game 1 with the Hullbreaker Horror. Like, we don't have any in the main deck. But also, Fading Hope shows why it's not actually all that great. And they are literally dead, but... just to be completely sure, because I am very tired. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was overkill. I don't think there was a way. I think we had perfect information, but I wasn't going to take any chances with how tired I feel right now. Okay, 1-0. So what do we do against the Izzet Hullbreaker Horror list? Yeah, so out come the Cinderglasms, of course. Out comes Burn Down the House, even though it was kind of a nice insurance plan. The Demon Bolts, let's see, do they have any dragons? They do have 2 Goldspan dragons. So I kind of like keeping the Demon Bolts. Let's see, what do I want in? I want Test of Talents, I want Level 1 Hermit, I want Saw It Coming, I want my own Hullbreaker Horror, I think. Given that they are the Hullbreaker Horror deck, I am kind of interested, I think, in bringing in my own Goldspan Dragons and try to end the game quickly. And that means, I think, getting rid of the Demon Bolts. I just don't think that there's enough else to remove. And we need to make one more cut. Paulo says it should be Fading Hope. But I don't think Paulo was expecting to run into a 4-copy of Hullbreaker Horror list. So... Opponent did also have Lear, which makes Saw It Coming a little worse. I would think Lear probably comes out against us. But maybe not. Okay. We'll go with what Paulo says. I mean, every other card in the deck is just so good against them, with, like, the only exception is, like, Saw It Coming, and that's because Lear is uncounterable and Hullbreaker Horror are uncounterable. Maybe it's right to take that out, especially on the draw. I don't know. Yikes. We're keeping this, right? It's got card draw. Hopefully we draw, like, an untapped blue source, which makes our decision easier, but which land to play on turn 1. Nope. No such luck. I don't think there's anything we want a Fading Hope onto, so playing the Spikefield Hazard on 1 is kind of free. We can play the Disruption tap to turn 2 if that's what we decide we want to do. Do they have Malevolent Hermit? I guess that's the question. They don't, so there's nothing to Fading Hope except 1 copy of Smoldering Egg, which I'm not sure I want to Fading Hope onto anyway, so I think I'm just going to play the Spikefield Hazard tapped. If we draw blue, Yeah, we don't. So now it's basically forced to play the Dwari runes. There's no Malevolent Hermit again for the Spike Field Hazard. Celestis is scary, so they're kind of doing their thing, and there's not much we can really do to oppose it. Galvanic Iteration into Unexpected Windfall is probably the way we win this game. Yeah, so that's going to be a Goldspan Dragon to hand. We cannot find our second blue source to save our life, by the way. I think I want the Mountain. I'll exile the Spike Field Hazard. I think the plan is going to be to bin this Spike Field Hazard too, frankly, so... We'll just play the one from exile, pitch this one. Yeah, they just main phase their Windfall, which makes a lot of sense. With Divide by Zero mana available. That's easy. We have our own Divide by Zero. So the play here is probably Unexpected Windfall on their end step. We could do it now and force them to spend their treasures, I guess. If we do it on their turn, they're forced to react to it then, and then we can slam a dragon. I hope that's good enough. They are on Hullbreaker mana next turn if we don't force them to use the treasure. If we do force them to use... If we do cast this and they have Hullbreaker, they slam it next turn anyway. If they have Hullbreaker, then we want to be able to divide by 0. Okay, I think we just say go. And I think we're gonna Windfall on their end step. But opponent's deck is firing on all cylinders. Ours is kind of awkward with our mana. So it's probably Unexpected Windfall here, pitching... I don't know. Do we pitch Fading Hope? It might just be pitch Iteration, realistically. Yeah, I think so. I think Fading Hope is too good against the Hullbreaker, which I think is kind of likely here. Yeah, sure. Do they have the 1 mana spell to counter this? Sure do. They have to use all their treasure to do it though, so we can bounce the Hullbreaker Horror and they won't be able to recast it next turn. And do something with it. So the play here is probably just Goldspan Dragon, Fading Hope. Yeah, I like that. So if they play the Hullbreaker Horror here, then we can divide it by 0. And have Windfall. Like we can Windfall into Divide by 0. Okay, they just Raw Dog it. That's fine. So here we get to kind of go nuts, right? So we can do this. Right. Pitching Spike Field Hazard. We have Dwari Disruption. We're definitely dividing that by 0. And I'm gonna cast this while I can, I think. Around any Shenanigans? Shit! So hang on. We have 6, 7, 8 mana available. We can Galvanic Iteration plus Windfall. It'll take all our treasures. We'll make 4 more treasures, have Divide by 0 available. Yeah, I think this is right. Another Divide by 0. That's excellent. Another Goldspan Dragon means we probably should have done all that pre-combat. Oh well, you live and learn. And now we say go. Expressive Iteration, I think, is fine. This is 6 mana. It's not enough for Hullbreaker Horror. The intention here is probably Divide by 0 the dragon in combat. Let's turn up the heat. If they have 2 Divide by 0s, then things get a little interesting. Maybe I'm supposed to use the treasures to cast the dragon instead. If they get both dragons off the board, then we have a bit of a mana shortage. Yeah, that's probably right. That's probably a mistake. I probably should have used the treasures. Galvanic Iteration, sure. Okay, so let's let them target our dragon. Out there. Okay. Cool. Good games. So game 1, I think we're a little, I think we're a fairly significant dog in game 1, and then game 2 comes around and we can try to race the opponent with Goldspan Dragons. Being on the draw is like, what matters in game 1 is the quality of the opponent's hand and whether they're on the play or draw. Our plan is pretty similar, pretty consistent. The question is, can they kill us before we combo? And so obviously what matters is the quality of their hand and whether they're on the play. And unfortunately they are on the play here. This is a pretty reasonable opening hand against them, though. We can try to make their life difficult. Galvanic Iteration, copying Demon Bolt is pretty sweet. Fading Hope being able to kill the Ranger class token is also pretty great. So we're going to keep this. Okay, so no 1-drop. That's what we like to see. We'll start on blue. If they play Werewolf Pack Leader, I think we're more than happy to just cast Fading Hope on it. That I think is also a decent Fading Hope target, given that our next turn is likely going to be to foretell the Demon Bolt. I think we can be a little greedy and bottom this land. It doesn't get us close to our combo. We have lots of lands in the deck. I think I'm fine keeping this. So the play here is going to just be Mountain in case we draw Expressive Iteration, foretell Demon Bolt. And next turn we'll have the option, if they cast two things, to Galvanic Iteration the Demon Bolt. That play gets a lot harder to make when the opponent has Snakeskin Veils. And they do have one, so depending on how they play. They could make our life difficult. But only one Snakeskin Veil. I think we're in make them have it territory. So I think what I like here... Field of Ruin killing the Lair of the Hydra into Demon Bolt doesn't work, actually, because then bringing the Forest in will pump the Mammoth above 4 toughness. If they have the one Snakeskin Veil, I think I want them to play it. So I think I'm going to play Mountain and cast the Demon Bolt for the full Monty, depending on what they do. Yeah. Okay. And this way, if they cast Snakeskin Veil to protect it, then they won't be able to cast their 4-drop this turn. Yeah, this is fine. Actually, it's a little less than fine, right? Because now this is going to be a 5/5, which will be above Demon Bolt. So we're going to have to spend 2 Galvanic Iterations to kill it. Or a Galvanic Iteration plus our Demon Bolt to kill it. A little scary. I wonder if we're interested in... Can we take another 7/8? I don't think we can. And I don't think we can risk them having the Inscription of Abundance to pump this out of range. So I think, as much as it's painful... I do want to do this now. I'm not sure what's holding priority for them here. It could be Lair, I guess. Does it hold priority there? We do need to kind of get them to... We need them to break out a bit here. So, like, ideally here they're just gonna pump the Lair of the Hydra and attack. And then next turn we can play Field of Ruin to hopefully stuff that. If they play the Lair of the Hydra, it means that their hand is mostly like Blizzard Brawls, probably. Because otherwise they would prefer to add pressure to the board while we're tapped out. Sure. So it's going to attack us for 4. That's more or less fine. Yeah, and I think now we do have to play Field of Ruin. Chariot. Okay. So the play here is probably Field of Ruin, kill the Lair of the Hydra. Thirst for Discovery. Is there anything we can hit off of Thirst that will save us? Cinderclasm we can cast whenever we get it. Divide by 0 we won't be able to cast. I think this is fine. I think this touches the board. And in their end step, island, cast Thirst for Discovery. They're at 9, so there's concern here. So we can cast Windfall, pitching probably Jwari Disruption. If we find Cinderclasm that way, we're pretty happy. If we wait till next turn, we'll get to Galvanic Iteration to Windfall. So probably the play here is Expressive Iteration Dig for Cinderclasm. Or like Divide by 0 or something. Fading Hope's not bad. So we can actually Galvanic Iteration the Fading Hope, if that's what we decide we want to do. So I doubt this is a creature. They would have to rip a creature off the top to be able to crew the Chariot. If they do, though, it's so bad. This is tough. If we get to Iteration this Windfall, do we just win? Probably. So I think the play here is if they crew up the Chariot, then we can Fading Hope it. And then we'll dig for our Cinderclasms to deal with these cats. Sure. So we're gonna take 3 here. Wow, they don't replay the Chariot? That seems wild. Okay. Not quite good enough, right? Is there anything? We need to find Cinderclasm basically exactly. That doesn't do it. We need to find Fading Hope. Yeah, we need to find Fading Hope, I think. which we might as well do at instant speed. See what they do. Hopefully they put the counter in the wrong place. Nope. Good game. So that was close. We almost got there. So like I said, game 1 is pretty rough. But in game 2, we get to actually change our plan. Rather than try to like control the board, which is really difficult to do against Asika's Chariot and stuff, we get to bring in our more proactive package. So we get to bring in our dragons, Hullbreaker Horror, and another copy of Fading Hope, and obviously Burning Hands, which is one of the best removal spells in the format against them. And out come 2 iterations. The Cinderclasms are kind of weak. We don't have time for the card draw spells so much, so they all go. And we actually take out the Burn Down the House, because our plan is not to control the board. The plan is to get the dragons in play, get the Hullbreaker Horror in play, and just kill them. Yikes. It's tough, right? It's probably a keep. Mountain, Spikefield Hazard, their pack leader. Hold Fading Hope for the next turn, try to scry into something. It's not like an inspiring hand, but we do have a lot of good top decks. Yeah, I'll keep this one. That's gonna die. Where they can have Snakeskin Veil up. Now we have Fading Hope available as well. Unexpected Windfall's kind of nice. If we get there. Ranger Class not bad. I'm inclined to just Fading Hope this now. Before they have Snakeskin Veil available. Galvanic Iteration, you say? I think we're a long way off from copying the Windfall with it. I think I want to draw something that affects the board more immediately. Okay. Kinda need to draw something. Yeah. Okay. Would love to have had Divide by 0 there. Alright, so let's do this while they're tapped out. Pitch... probably the Stormcarved Coast in case... Well, we boarded out the Thirst for Discovery, right? So there's no reason to keep the mountain anymore. Christ. That's pretty awkward. They didn't pump the Ranger class, which is really bad news for us. Because that probably means Chariot is coming. Yep. Found Goldspan Dragon. Wow. So they play a 4-drop. They attack for 12 next turn. Can we realistically deal with that? If not, are we trading for the chariot? That seems awful too. They pump the chariot. I think what we need here is we need to get kind of lucky with Epiphany draws. And for that, I want as much mana as I possibly can get. Also, like, non-zero chance they have a bunch of removal in hand. Yeah, so this is rough. They get to attack for 5, 9, 11, 13. And we essentially need Epiphany here. Need a pretty good sequence. I don't think we can win. We could also have an inscription to fight the dragon. Fighting the dragon would really suck. Yeah, they have it. Okay. It's not the worst. Hullbreaker Horror is not good enough, right? So I think the only way, since Hullbreaker doesn't do it on its own, I think the only way is to play the Smoldering Egg and bluff multiple pieces of interaction to try to flip into the Ashnod Dragon. But I don't think that there's a realistic way to save this. If they just attack with anything, then we're dead. That kind of sucks. Like, we flooded a lot. Yeah, they just attack with everything and we're dead. Good game. It's a lot of land to draw. The keep, I think, was even reasonable. Like, we got mileage out of our... got mileage out of our Spikefield Hazard, got mileage out of our Fading Hope. Maybe the Scry of the Windfall, or the Scry of the Galvanic Iteration to the bottom was a bit of a spew, but, like, we had nothing going on and nothing realistic to copy with it until turn 6, so I don't mind it that much. Oh well. Good game. Okay, so Cinderclasm is, like, not the worst against Divide by Zero and the like. I think I'm down to keep this. And... I don't know, maybe there's a world where if we play the Mountain and bluff Spikefield Hazard, they don't play the Pack Leader. But I doubt it. It's low opportunity cost. Yeah, they play it anyway. Which they should. I think we're into holding Cinderclasm, or like if they play another, like a turn 2 creature, what could they play? They could play Sculptor of Winter. If they play, I guess if they play Werewolf Pack Leader, we're kind of sad if we do that. So maybe we just need to not foretell the Epiphany here. What's our play next turn? It's like almost certainly Divide by Zero, right? So do we foretell the Epiphany or not? I think the answer is not. We'll take 2, we'll see what they play. And if Cinderclasm ends up being a 1-for-1, then so be it. And if they play a 2 toughness creature... Okay. So in that case, I think we're pretty happy to just kick the Cinderclasm here. They have 2 Snakeskin Veils, a bunch of ways to interact. We're just going to do this now. that would have been a nice one to have with the kicked Cinderclasm. That would have been pretty sweet. We're probably dividing by 0 here. Right. We can Expressive Iteration, try to hit something like Fading Hope. They power up the Faceless Haven. How do we feel about that? Like if we take this turn off. I think in general we're supposed to make their life harder by not tapping out. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what they do. Okay, so the careful taps strongly suggest Snakeskin Veil. I think I'm fine doing this. Well, we found it. We found the thing. Definitely want to foretell the Alrund's Epiphany here. Yep. So they tap out. We could find like... that's kind of interesting too, but we're like very sure that they have... we're very sure that they have Snakeskin Veil. So I think the play here... I think we're just trying to take all the turns. I think that's the name of the game. And I think the way we do that is by having this foretold with Galvanic Iteration available. Which means we do this. Foretell Epiphany. And 4, 8. I don't see a way that we die next turn. I'm gonna kill the pack leader now. And we can at least represent Fading Hope. Sure, so this will attack. And then we're just trying to go off. So we take 8. And they get to dominate the board. And now what? So we have 7 mana here. Need to find untapped land. I don't know what's holding priority here. Oh, I am. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay, that's quite a hand of magic cards. I don't think there's a way to win. We definitely need them to make a mistake. I think if at any point... Yeah, that'll do it too, right? Because now that'll trample through anything we do. Yep. Yep. Okay. So I think if we ever draw the untapped land there, then we're in excellent shape, but we just did not. So yeah. So in come the eggs, in come the dragons, in comes the lobster, Fading Hope, Burning Hands, and out come 2 iterations. Cinder Clasms are gone, draw spells are gone. Same boarding as last time. Let's give this another try. And hopefully we don't drop every single game to mono green. Yeah, exactly. One more turn. Like, if we ever untap with land there, like, if we ever get the untapped land, then we just absolutely win on the spot. And we gave ourselves every opportunity to find it. Just couldn't get there. Definitely keeping, right? We have to make sure we curve out to divide by 0. Okay, not punished. That's great. Okay, that's pretty good. I think the plan here is going to be to expect an unexpected windfall end of turn unless they do something extraordinary. Yeah. I don't know what's it been. I think we do this. We can play the untapped land, Mascot Exhibition, plus to 5/0. Actually, we can't. I thought we had the mana to do that. Pretty good. We block this 100% of the time. Okay. So that plan is only really good on the play, I think. So I think the gold spans come out here, and what comes back in? The thirst for discovery, apparently. And I guess we go back into this mode. Yeah, I think this is it. So no pack leader on one means we can pretty safely play this, I think. Wow. Hmm. Alright. Whew! Alright. That felt great! 5-1, baby. Oh, against the toughest matchup, too. Beautiful. Good game, opponent. Okay, so burn down the house, not terrible. We don't have anything else going on. On the draw, I feel like we can mulligan this. Like, I feel if we're not taking a game action until turn 5, then we're pretty upset. Like, we can draw. We have a lot of good draws. We also have a lot of bad ones. I'm going to mull this. Try to find early removal. Yeah, this is fine. We'll keep this, and it's either one of the Galvanic iterations or one of the Windfalls that we're binning, and I think it's, given that we're mulliganing, we want to keep the card advantage cards. So let's bottom the Galvanic iteration, and we do need to find a land. So, like, obviously Cinderclasm is the nut. We are very afraid of Thalia coming down. I'm gonna bluff the, what's it called? The Spikefield Hazard. So we'll tank here as though we have it. Might change their play. Yeah. So you'd play this if you thought we had Spikefield Hazard, right? I think the play here is going to be to kick the Cinderclasm now that they have the 2 toughness creature in play. Still going to put this into play on tap so we have the option. If they play like Paulo or something, then we'll cast this once he touches the battlefield. Hopefully they play. They were stuck on 2. Now, hopefully they play Paulo here. This is tough. Hopefully they don't have like Valor stance, but if they do, then okay. Okay. Really wanted to find land there so we'd be able to divide by 0. Probably flew a little too close to the sun. Yeah, there's no way that they don't attack, right? So. Okay. So that's tough. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what the sideboard guide says for this one. So we're on the play. Out comes 1 copy of Iteration. The 2 divide by 0s are really slow. So are the card draw spells. And we get to bring in another Cinderclasm, which is pretty sweet. Burning Hands removes most of their stuff. Smoldering Eggs we saw were pretty good already in our matchup against Mono Green. And Fading Hope is just not great against them, right? Oh, I just didn't bring in the Cinderclasm. I thought I did. Okay. Hullbreaker Horror also not great against them. Valorous Dance is a bit of a beating. Their stuff is cheap to replay. I think this is fine. I mean, okay. One of mulligans, we like that. One of mulligans twice, we like that even more. Paladin class is annoying, for sure. Thalia is scary. Cashing in Cinderclasm here seems kind of weak, right? But if they play Paulo... Well, if they play Paulo, we can't stop it, right? Because next turn, if we cast it on their turn, it'll cost 4. We have the combo in hand. I kind of want to get there. And if it's not Paulo, then we feel pretty good, I think. So Paulo and Adeline are a problem. They did mull. Their hand can't be that good. Game is fine. Yeah, Verdane is okay here. So we'll retain the option to kick Cinderclasm, and then Fading Hope end of turn, whatever the most annoying thing is, I think. Actually, we can't kick Cinderclasm. But we can cast it. Really, really want to draw land. And I want to be able to cast Unexpected Windfall, so I really want to Fading Hope Redain. Oh, I want that. What am I doing? Yeah, so this lets us kick Cinderclasm next turn. But I really want a Windfall, so I'll be able to cast Epiphany. Yeah, okay, let's do this. That could be much worse, right? Like, even if they exile Cinderclasm, we'll be able to kick it on our turn and kill everything. Okay, if that last card is Valorous Stance. Okay. Yeah, that's bad news. Now here comes Redain, and I think we're in serious trouble. Yeah, this was a... hello. So we have 9 mana available. If we bounce... 7, cost 6. We just need to draw gas. Okay. Yeah, this was a dropping. Basis Haven's pretty nasty too. Yeah, I mean, and now they get to double strike up the Redain as well, if they choose to. Yeah, this felt awful. So 7 mana, we can no longer find Epiphany. So now we just need to find a bunch of bounce spells. Yeah. Not quite. Just a little too far away. Not good enough. Okay. Good game. Hopefully that's not the end. That sucks. And it was 2-0-2, so like it's just like the magic zone where our breakers might go bad enough to miss top 8. We'll see what happens. Good game, opponent. That sucks. I think that mull to 6 was right. I think keeping it was probably also right. And I don't think from there what we did made much of a difference. That sucks. Alright. I'm thinking, like, if we don't draw a blue source, it doesn't matter anyway. What the hell could that be? I don't see it. If we take the Spike Field Hazard, at least we can play it as our land next turn. Any untapped land, we can unexpected windfall. Not anymore. Okay. I guess we might as well do this on their turn while it's taxed. We need to draw blue or nothing matters. And if we do it on their turn, we'll pay 2 for it, which pumps the Smoldering Egg. A little extra. Also plays around Valorous Stance a little better. Although Valorous Stance is just going to kill the egg if they have it. Should have specified. Yeah, I think the keep was fine. Maybe a little greedy, but the hand was just so good if we ever found untapped blue. Or if we found Destroy Runes any sooner. I think the keep was fine. I don't know. What do you guys in chat think? I think it was okay. So that kind of sucks. But opponent was good. Didn't really get to play Magic in game 2, other than the mulligan decision, so feel kind of okay about that one. Alright, good game.